Hey everyone, this is John here with How to Film Weddings, and today's video is going to be a phone call that I had yesterday with a bride that contacted me to film her wedding next year in Punta Cana, the Dominican Republic. I recorded the conversation with her approval and wanted to just kind of let you listen in on how I do a phone call, especially with travel and how I kind of phrase things. And so I figure that might be helpful for someone out there. So if this is helpful for you, do us a favor, share it, like it, comment below, tell us how it helped you, and let's jump right in to the phone call. Hey, is this Kristen?
Yes.
Hey, this is John with Redeemed Productions. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing really great, actually. I'm excited to talk to you about your wedding and see if I can make it work for you. It sounds like it's going to be
Good, me
like
too.
perfect. So you've been watching some of our films I've seen.
Yes, I watched them all day yesterday.
I like hearing that. That makes my heart happy. So tell me about you. Tell me about how, like, the two of you, why you guys decided Punta Cana, all the things.
So I'll tell you how we met. So our moms are best friends. So, and our little sisters are 10 and 11, and they're best friends. So his little sister actually was like, "This is my older brother," and I'd never met him, anything. And I was like, okay, like, what does he look like? And so, she gave me his Instagram, and I, creeped on him. And we ended up meeting a few months later, and it's we just hit it off from there. But we do long distance because he lives in Louisiana, and I live here in Moore. So that part kind of sucks.
Yep.
But we decided to do destination because we didn't really want, honestly, he's a boy, so he could care less if it's just me and him, which, is nice, but he doesn't care for a big wedding or anything at all.
Yeah.
Doesn't really care about the details. I'm, obsessed with every little thing, and, but we did agree we didn't want a big wedding, and we knew, with destination, not everybody's going to be able to go, not everybody's going to want to go, and that we were fine with that. So, we decided to do that, and plus, I don't really care for all the details of things either, when it comes to flowers and stuff like that. I'm just not that type of person. There could be 5 flowers at my wedding, and I'll be totally fine with it.
I like
the
that.
Video, yeah, and the photography is number 1 on my list.
I love you. Is this weird?
When I think of my wedding, that to me is the most, besides him, that is the most important thing for me, because that's what I'm going to look back on in 20 years and be like, oh yeah, I forgot about this. Or, oh yeah, that was really awesome. So I'm not going to think about the flowers or the music. So that's why I've been looking forever. I've honestly been looking at wedding videos since we started dating. Had no idea who I wanted to go with, and my friend Jordan actually sent me you guys to check out yesterday morning. We were texting about it, and I don't know which friends you guys did, but she said one of her friends, you guys did their wedding video, and she loved it. So she recommended you guys, and I have just been obsessed since yesterday morning.
Aw. Well, thanks. You've just made my day. Well, this is what we try, it's funny. People are like, when I tell them what I do, they're like, what do you do? And I'm like, well, I film weddings, but it's more than that, and it's it's not just I'm showing up, that it's hard to explain to my grandparents, or it's what are you doing? And it's I'm filming wedding.
Awesome, but what?
We're doing, this year we're going to Italy for a wedding, and they're like, wait, what? Somebody's paying you to come to Italy? And it was yeah, we're we're going to film a movie. It's not it's not, the photos aren't just on our camera, our phones. They're and so we pour so much into them, and it's always great to hear when people, can see the value that we bring to what we're doing and the art that, we want to create uniquely for everybody. So, some people call and it's what's your pricing? And it's well, it's very, very, it's very hard to know that until we talk. So, so what we've been diving into, just so you know, I made a shift in our company 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I had a lot of people working for me. It was getting too big, and I just wanted to be a lot more personal. Like the weddings I loved the most were like the elopements and the travel and the smaller intimate. It was way more about the people than it was about, you know, big pretty flowers. And obviously I do a lot of really beautiful weddings where that's important. But
yeah, for sure.
But, you know, the ones that really stood out and like what I really wanted to start showing were ones where I could travel with the couple and spend more than just the wedding day capturing things.
Yeah.
And telling like the story of that weekend. And like, you know, how you were saying it didn't like bringing people that are willing to come, you know, out of the country with you and like turn it into like this big weekend. You can just get so much more intimate with everybody and learn your story more. And it comes across on the screen so much differently with the video and with the photos. And so, you know, like I see it being like me getting footage on the airplane and you can hear the voice of the guy saying, you know, now boarding flight 202 to, you know, like I immediately start like feeling like, okay, I want to spend a day just to like immerse myself in the culture. And I want to go around the city and just like record people living life and like, because the sounds are what's you're gonna want to remember. And like what, you know, I've been talking to another friend of mine that does a lot of destinations, and he was just talking about the sounds and, you know, getting immersed in the culture and the cuisine and like putting that into the story, and how like his films, you know, they're like amazing. And it's like, oh, I'm so excited to be taking what I know how to do as an artist and like going all over the world these days and like just, you know, trying my best to blow you away with the art that we can produce, you know.
Well, you're already there, so
yay.
We've got that down.
Yeah. And then, you know, from there, I just love hearing kind of ideally what your whole weekend or week is going to look like. How's that going to feel? How many people? What are some like of the keywords that come to mind that like you want to walk away with when it comes to the wedding?
So right now we're inviting probably way more than is actually going to come. Like I've like priced things for like 60 people max to be there, but we're probably inviting anywhere from like 80 to 100. But I don't think everybody's gonna, you know, want to travel, gonna want to go, and that's fine. Yeah. But definitely our immediate family will be there, and then, you know, some friends for the bridal party and the, you know, groom side of it. We have to be there 3 days before the actual wedding takes place to meet with whoever and to finalize things. Yep. But we will be there beforehand. And that's what I was going to ask you. Do you guys go with us from like day one? Do you come later? Do you stay later? Like, or is that just
it's completely custom on what you want. I like to be there at least 2 days before, just so we can get acclimated to the culture, to the, like, if we just get there, I've done weddings before where it's like we flew into California on Friday night, filmed a wedding on Saturday, flew back Sunday morning, and it was just like, you know, it was too much. But like for me, I'm looking June 1st. What day of the week is that on?
It's on a Monday.
Okay.
Which I know that sounds so crazy because everyone's like, you know, it's on a Monday, but I'm like, it's going to be like out of town. So to me, or out of the country. So to me, like, if you're going on vacation, technically, every day is like the weekend.
Yeah.
So it's still on a Monday.
So as it sits right now on video, I have a wedding on May 23rd already of next year.
Okay.
And that one is actually in Cancun. So I will be over that way.
Awesome.
It's funny. Like,
you just fly from one island to the next.
Yeah, maybe. And so that wedding will probably be in Cancun like May 18th to 23rd or something like that. And then come back to the States on like May 24th or 5th. And then, I mean, probably that next week, that next Sunday, you're on Monday, so we'd want to fly out. I mean, it would basically be us booking like a regular weekend anyway, like that May 30th weekend. Yeah. You know, we're not going to be shooting a wedding in, you know, Oregon and then flying over to, like, I don't want to do that necessarily. So,
that would be crazy.
But, you know, for me, I always try to turn it into something where if it's somewhere with a nice beach, that's where I want to be, you know? And so if it's like a field in Kansas, I'm like, yeah, it's going to, you know, be a little different than a beach in the Dominican Republic. So, obviously it still costs a lot, like, you know, what we do and why we limit ourselves to, you know, a small number of weddings each year is so we can pour, a month of time into editing your film. And so, if you think about it, like a Hollywood movie, they shoot for a year and a half to produce an hour and a half film. And so, they have a huge team of people doing it. And so, we like to limit that. And with that, we charge more, but the clients that want us, and it's like the top priority to them, it's worth it to have that. And so, for me, figuring out, obviously the appeal of going there is great. And I've over the years gotten caught up before. It's like, oh, I'll just do it, pay for my travel, or I can't do that anymore. But I can definitely give you guys value that you wouldn't be getting if you were doing it in Oklahoma. Like I'm not gonna, if you're getting married at Southwind Hills in Norman, I'm not gonna shoot for 3 days. But if you're getting married,
there's not much to see.
Right. And so, I could get some shots of downtown maybe. But like with going somewhere, that's one of the main characters of the movie is the island. It's like that's one of the main things we want to show off. So it's like if you're wanting, drone footage of the mountains and you're wanting the ocean, and it's like we're not going to be doing that on your actual wedding day. We're going to do that on the day before or the day after. So we can definitely work and figure out probably like a 5-day window of time is what we would want to be there. To whereas like 2 or 2.5 days of that we would be shooting, and the rest of the time we'd be acclimating, and 1 day or 2 days like enjoying. So
awesome.
So yeah, what questions do you have for me? I know we need to kind of figure out if you guys want to book us, if we're, the price range that we'd need to charge, that kind of stuff. But what questions do you have just initially before that about video or photo or both?
So I was definitely interested in both video and photo, because I did like the idea of it just being the same company to do both, because, I feel like that would work a lot better than having to, work with other people that you haven't met before. So I definitely wanted to get, I know you told me to think about my budget. I don't know what's too low, what's too high. Obviously I've never done this before, so I don't know where I'm going with it. This part of the wedding, me and my fiance decided we were paying for ourselves. Okay. So my parents are paying for my wedding and, traveling and all that stuff. But I told my mom I would just do this part, because this part I feel like is probably going to be the more pricier part, just because I want it to be perfect, and that's why I reached out to you guys, because I loved your work, and I do understand that the nicer things are, the more expensive they are. So, which I'm totally fine with. I'd rather pay $10,000 for something really nice than go pay somebody $1,000 and hate my video.
Yeah, and because I say this a lot, and I've talked to a lot of people that have just hired us for one or the other. We had a bride hire us for photo and didn't hire us for video, and paid $3,000 for a video, which is not a ton. I know it's a lot of money, but for what we're doing. And they came back and brought me the footage and said, is there any way you can salvage this? And I was like, well, not really. It was shot wrong. You can't go back and get better audio of you seeing your dad in your dress for the first time. I can't fake that. Aww. Or, there's just those moments where it's like, if you're not ready. And that's where I'm, this is my 13th wedding season now. I'm 34, so I've been doing this since I was 21. And I've poured, my career into this. And I'm not saying I'm perfect by any means. And there are people that are way better and, more experienced, but I am a dad of 2 girls. My wife and I have been married for almost 14 years. And so I see it from a parent's perspective, and from a videographer's perspective, and from the bride's perspective. So it wasn't too far away whenever my wife and I were planning, you'll see one day it's like, oh my goodness, we're married 14 years. But, and I also am thinking too about, Kristen in 2025, what is she going to want to see? And you don't know her yet, but I've met a lot of people and worked with them, and it's 5 years since their wedding, and they're so happy about X, Y, or Z that I was paying attention to, that you're kind of in this out of body experience. It's it's happening, you've been thinking about it. And so, what you said, that means a lot to me, and about just being willing to pay for it yourself, because it's so important. You are the exact person and kind of people that we're aiming to find to shoot their weddings. And so, we have a lot of people now, because we've been doing a lot of these very high-end weddings that are just like, oh, I'll hire them because my friend hired them. I'm spending $1 million on my wedding, so I just want to hire you. And we've been turning a lot of them down because it's like, that's not why I'm in this. Yes, I need to make money, and yes, I want to, have a good life financially, but it's way more to me about the people and than anything. And so that's resonating a lot with me, what you're saying. I will say, so Nina Chappelle is our lead photographer, and then I'm the lead videographer. We're both married, not to each other. And so we get asked that a lot. And so it's not like if you're having us travel, like we don't want to stay in the same room. We don't want to, it's like we're all those kinds of things. So like the travel cost usually becomes, the airline stuff, is the same, but like the rooms, or if it's an Airbnb, that's cool. But like, we'd love to stay at the resort with you guys is where we'd like to be.
Oh yeah, I totally plan on that.
And so figuring that out, if there's, if there's hotel or like villas or whatever it is there that have more than one room, we can bring our spouses and we'd be happy to do that. And we're not going to ask you to pay for that, but like if you get a better deal for that, or like we can book it as well and then not charge, like if you can book it and we'll take that much off of what we were going to charge you or something like we can book our own flights, all that stuff. But if like you have a deal with the resort or whatever to get a better deal, it's like we can take off that, off of what we would charge you.
Yeah, we're still in the planning phase with our wedding planner. We're still finalizing things before she'll build our website.
Yeah.
So it'll actually be super easy once that gets going. So she makes the website for us herself, and that's where us and then all of our guests and, you guys can go on there and you can see everything for yourselves, how much things are going to cost, and it'll take you straight to, like, booking things and payment plans and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And you're able to contact her for, like, things that, you may call me and I'm like, oh crap, I don't know the answer to that.
That'd be great.
But she's, able to work with everybody. So that whole thing should be super smooth once we get that going.
Okay.
Right now the only thing I know for sure is that it's about 170 a person a night. Okay. And everybody going, no matter, who it is, has to stay at least 3 nights to get that, group rate, which I didn't think would be a problem because nobody's going to fly out there for a day and then fly back.
No, we want to make a vacation out of it. Everybody wants to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's as much as I know about that.
Yeah, that's all great, especially having somebody there. Like it's definitely a big help. I just posted a tip this last week on we do a wedding tip Wednesday every week, and like that was the tip was like hire a wedding planner, please.
I think I saw that.
Yeah, and so for me, like what you said. Around that $10,000 range is going to be what I would bill for video and photo. Just so you know, that's like kind of our bill for just like shooting a video photo destination wedding with multi-day. Like
Got it.
And that would cover basically like if you wanted to do something like if you guys were going out on a tour or something on a boat or like we would go with you on another day besides your wedding to do sightseeing or to do a shoot or like we could plan it to where sunset was happening and we did like an engagement shoot the day before 2 days before your wedding
awesome.
And we can get all this like just glorious footage and photos, and it's just like there's nowhere else in the world you could get these. And so like we could get you all glammed up and go do something super nice in town, or we could go like whatever you want. Like we have time to kind of figure that out, but usually a video package in Tulsa is $5,600 just to start. And so, and that's with 2 shooters for 8 hours. With this, it would be 1 video shooter and 1 photo shooter. And then depending on what all you want, we can handle it. Like I can have stationary cameras kind of running during your ceremony, but I really only need myself. If you wanted us to bring an assistant, we can do that. It'd be a little bit more, but it's basically $5,000 for the video, $5,000 for the photo if it's together. And then a little bit more for each if you were doing them separate. So like by booking them together, we are in our very happy place to like book out a Saturday in May, even though yours is on a Monday. Nina and her husband, Joey, and Heather, my wife, and I went to Hawaii for a wedding last year. And like they booked us like in the resort, there was a room that had like a living room and a kitchen and 2 bedrooms, and that worked just fine. Like we were cool with that, and it made it cheaper on everybody. So we're not trying to fly first class or anything, but like we can either, book all the things and then bill you for those. But like the main thing is like just the travel. I don't know if food is included in that day rate or whatever, but
yeah, it is. Everything in that rate is included except for flight. So the only thing that has to be booked separately is your flight.
Okay. And so we could book those and bill you after or whatever, but like it would just be Nina's flight and my flight. And if I was bringing, my wife or her husband, or we might even bring our kids, because you said it was kid friendly, and we'll be in Mexico the week or two before, and we'll want to do vacation with our kids. And so we turn it into like our family vacation, depending on where we're going that summer. Because usually every year there's somewhere, like October this year, we're doing Santa Barbara, California. So we're making like a big Disneyland trip out of it. And so, so it's beautiful, and we're blessed because it's like we get, to travel, and my family's really important to me. So I'd want them to be able to experience that too. But if the total, let's say, was 10,000 for, the video photo package, and then I realized that, Joey and Heather, our spouses, were going to cost, $1,000 more dollars, I could say, hey, do you want to book this yourself and only pay me $9,000, or do you want me to book it? Whatever. Like, but
that makes sense.
So, that's kind of the gist. And honestly, 5 days is like the number that like typically that we would stay there for Nina and me. If you think about it, like getting in on whatever day we get in is kind of like a just get acclimated day, like just get there. The next day would be us traveling or whatever, looking around. Day 2, day 3 would be probably a shoot with you guys, or traveling around with you guys. Day 4 is the wedding. Day 5 is like chill out and then head home. I mean, it's not like, that's kind of how that would, in our mind, to make it super, feasible. That's kind of what makes us super happy. But we're, I don't know where that hits you. What does that all sound like?
I mean, that sounds really good to me. Like I said, we're going to fly in 3 days prior to the wedding. So if you guys are cool with that, I would love for you to come when we go.
It'd be cool to get the same flight, because I could get footage of you video wise, like getting at the airport, getting into the plane, getting like out the windows. It'd be really so layered. It would just feel like a documentary. Yeah.
Okay, then perfect. So if we do that, then we could just go ahead and book, when we book stuff, book y'all's, and then take that off the total later. Yeah. That way we can make sure we have the same flight. Yeah.
And so just to reiterate, I don't want to, I think we got it, but like mine and Nina's would be on top of the 10,000, and then our families would be like part of the, I don't want you to accidentally get that. And so like, I treat it as though like if you were just hiring us to be there, that's what we would need regardless. And so that would be the fee for shooting the 2 days, as well as, like if we want to do some sunset shots or some, like just do engagements, different. I mean, we can do it. We're pretty open to just really doing a lot for you guys.
That's just strictly your work, and then we would pay for you two to travel. And you would pay for your wife or
exactly.
Got it. Okay.
Yep. And if you were like booking and would rather, like the thing that I was saying about like if it makes more sense for you and you get a better deal to book my wife and Nina's husband, like if you pay for that, we would take it off of the 10,000 for them, because there's no need for them to be there at all except for us.
Yeah, got it.
Awesome. So if all of that sounds good, I'm ready. I mean, I would be, as soon as you're ready, to reserve the day for you. I know that that's a big expense, and I'm sure you want to chat it over. I would say that we typically do a $1,500 per service to reserve the day. So all you would need to do is $3,000 of the $10,000 to reserve it. And then we could schedule some payments over the next year, so it would like break it up for you. And then, like whenever you're ready to book flights and all that stuff, we can just coordinate with each other and all that. But, the fun part of my job and the bummer about my job is that like someone can book at any minute. And so I'm a big fan of first come, first served. I've just done this long enough I've held so many dates where people didn't get back with me. You don't seem like that kind of a person, but you know,
I know what I want.
As soon as you have a green light, and if you've already talked it over and you want to reserve the day, I don't have to charge it today. I can just take a card number and you can wait a couple days and tell me when I can charge it, just so I don't book it. I just need confirmation, to book it. And then
I still need to talk it over with Tyler because I was waiting until after I talked with you about everything.
Yeah.
Because, he was asking me details. I was like, I don't know anything yet. I did want to ask too, so the photography comes with an engagement session. Could we do that here? That way
absolutely. Yes.
Have those for like our save the dates and
yeah,
stuff like
I would recommend probably doing them in Tulsa. And then because we have it's gonna look different than most people that in Oklahoma City, but like we have a membership at the Philbrook Museum, which is great for engagements. I don't know if you've seen it or know anything about.
Is that the one where David and Faith's wedding was?
Yes.
Yes, it looks really beautiful.
So that is just like this Italian Tuscan. I mean, it's just gorgeous. And so like if you wanted to start there and finish downtown, or like there's fields and stuff at the Philbrook, and there's like this architecture that's very Italian, and then like it's 5 minutes from downtown if you wanted to do something like that. But yes, we would do an engagement session in that package beforehand. And then we would also be willing to do another shoot once we get out there. Like if you guys are going, and you'll figure things out as you're going, but it's like, oh, we're going to go do this ancient ruins tour of this thing. And it's like, oh, well, we're going, like, we want to go to capture you, petting a seal or whatever you're doing. Like you're going to want that. Like you can't go back and get it later. And so that's just how I shoot. It's like, I never ask a couple like, well, what do you want? I kind of tell you what I think you need based on my experience. I want to know what you want and everything. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying, like, if you are having me out there, I'm not going to not film something like that for you. I'm going to say, hey, we need to be there. We'll be there, And so for us,
no, that's totally fine with me. You guys have complete creative freedom. I don't have.
I love this woman.
That I'm like, oh, you have to do this. Like, I just want things captured and however you want to do it and make it look as fun.
Are you real? Are you a real person? Are you trolling me? Are you working for another company just trying to get my prices?
No.
Are you sure?
It's
like you're an answer to prayer. It's like you are literally exactly who I want to shoot their wedding.
Okay, perfect.
That's so funny. Well, I'll tell you this, like I want to know all the things about your story and all that, and I want to get into that soon, but I want to do that with the two of you. And
awesome.
If you guys, if after talking, to Tyler and say, hey, I want to jump on like a FaceTime call or a Google Hangout just to like say hi real quick, because Google Hangouts, you can be in 3 different, I'm sure you do Google Hangouts, maybe, but maybe not.
I don't know what that is, actually.
Oh, well, if you do, Google has a program where you just go to hangouts.google.com, and if you have a webcam, like you and I can see each other, and then he can jump on as a third person, and whoever's talking shows up on the screen, and it's like a 3-way conversation, so everybody can see each other. I've learned of it because we do a lot of destinations, and so like we're not in the same place with a lot of people. So it gives us a chance to like see face to face, because sometimes it's like, and I don't think that he's going to be this way, but some people are like, holy crap, like why are they charging that much? I don't understand. And if he has those questions, which I don't think he will.
He might, honestly. He is that person that like saves and is like he doesn't even want to go buy himself like new underwear because like
I'm more that way. Yeah.
Like I gotta have it. So yeah, we're total opposites when it comes to that.
Well, I can like that number is like my happy place to like really do it for you. I'm not saying I can't work with you, but like that would be like without me peeling anything off of what I feel like it would really take to give you what you want. So I don't do totally discounts or anything like that, but it would be like, oh, well, we will only need to be there 3 days and we can only shoot on the wedding day. I feel like if you're going to do it and it, like you're saying, it's the most important thing, like go for it. And we'll make it work. If we need to have a couple thousand come after the wedding that we get, I don't care. Like, I'm not going to give you your footage until I get, it's like, I'm going to, the main thing for me is capturing everything that you want captured. And if you need to pay a little bit, you know, leading up or after or whatever to make it happen, I'm very flexible on that.
Okay.
And so, like, I'm not going to send you all your final edited stuff until I've been paid, but it gives you, you know, options if you need it. But
Okay.
I'm very, very flexible on that kind of thing. So
So do we give you $3,000 down first, and then we do payment plans to pay off the rest?
yeah. And if you're having any, I can be flexible on the 3,000 to make it 2, if that helps.
Okay.
Like that just kind of says, hey, we're blocking off the day. And I'll tell you this, I've booked like 7 2020 weddings in the last 2 weeks. Like,
oh my goodness.
And we book, I mean,
Filling up.
like we only do like 15 to 20 a year. And so like we're already halfway filled for next year. And like this year we're at 19 weddings, and like we've raised our prices just for 2019 weddings because we're like, can't handle too many more.
Yeah.
And so it just fills up. And like, I know some people just don't get it. And I understand, like, I have the same thought with myself. It's like, wow, that's a lot of money for what it is. But for people that it's important, it really, you know, you just can't go wrong with doing it the right way.
Yeah. Well, like I said, like that for me, like people will go spend $50,000 on flowers. I would rather spend, you know, a lot on photos,
Yeah.
video. So, I mean, that sounds perfect to me.
Well, we sound like we're on the same team.
Yeah.
When do you think
we're going to be great?
When do you think you will chat with him? When do you think you'll have an yes or no?
Today.
I literally love this woman.
Right
I hope it's not weird, but I'm going to tell you I love you just as much as he tells you.
Totally good.
I tell my wife, it's like I flirt with women a lot. I'm sorry, but just what I do. She's like, okay.
It's part of the job.
And that venue just looks gorgeous. I'm so
excited.
Yeah, have you been there, or is this all pictures?
I have never been there.
Oh
It's
my
all
goodness.
pictures.
You're so cool. You're so much
I've had friends
gutsier
that
than
have
me.
gone and said it's really pretty out there, but I've never been.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure the weather's perfect all year there too.
Oh yeah. I can't wait.
I can't wait either. Now we have to wait. Why'd you do this to me?
I know.
Now I have to
wait
wait.
a year and a half.
It'll be here fast though. But
Oh, I know.
awesome.
Okay, so I will get all of this to him, talk to him about it, and then what time do you guys close today?
This number I'm calling you from is a cell phone, and then as you see, I use Instagram a lot. So I'll just have this phone with me if you want to text me or whatever.
Okay.
Just let me know, green light, and I will write everything up, and then we can take the card info or whatever you want to hold the day.
Okay, sounds good to me.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Chris. I'm very, very excited. Like, it's very cool.
I'm excited too. Thank you so much for everything.
Awesome. Well, have a great day, and I'll look forward to hearing from you here shortly.
Sounds good. Thank you. You too.
All right. Bye. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That was the call that I had with the bride. And she actually just booked me today for that wedding. So I'll be going on that destination wedding soon. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If you have a chance, like this video, subscribe, share it with a friend. And until next time, we'll see you.